Before delivering today's numbers, Governor Asa Hutchinson made clear he opposes President Joe Biden's vaccine requirement for businesses. But he also detailed specific cases in which he could support a mandate, but says he thinks the White House mandate goes too far. The governor said he understood mandates for the military and federal employees, and he supports the ability he has to impose vaccine mandates on schools in the state if they're needed. But he says an order on businesses just doesn't fit right now.
Now is not the time. We don't know what the future holds. We don't know whether there's going to be another variant come in, but I do support the authority of the state because we've obviously done that with many other types of communicable diseases in the schools that we require vaccinations on.
Hutchinson says he expects the president's mandate, when it's published, to be challenged in court. Now, we've already seen several hospitals and businesses across the state making getting the shot a condition of keeping a job.
There are two different ways employees can be exempt from a vaccine requirement: disability reasons or a religious belief. THV 11's Mercedes McKay explains why the religious exemption is raising a few questions.
It's easy to provide documentation of a medical condition from a doctor or healthcare provider that would exempt an employee from having to get the vaccine. But experts say it's not that easy for religious beliefs.
You can't just say, I'm religious, or I object to the vaccine, I don't believe in the vaccine. You sort of need to provide more detail than that.
Local lawyer Amanda Orcutt says there's no hard and fast rule to what qualifies as a religious exemption. But the employee must prove their religious belief is, quote, sincerely held, and those beliefs do go against the vaccine.
So you have to make that link between the vaccine and the sincerely held religious belief. And if you can't, then employers could be within their right to deny the request.
Orcutt says employers need to be clear if people are requesting religious exemptions. First, create a form for people to describe the nature of their religious belief and the reason they're requesting the exemption. Second, decide when additional documentation is required. Last, consider accommodations you'll allow for workers if their request is approved.
Remote work is possible. Masking and social distancing is possible. Those types of accommodations an employer might consider to be reasonable.
Back in mid-August, Conway Regional Health System announced a COVID-19 vaccine mandate for all employees, similar to the flu vaccine mandate they've had for years. But CEO Matt Troop says something was different this time around.
The total percentage of exemptions related to religious exemptions increased dramatically with the COVID vaccine relative to anything we've seen with the influenza vaccine.
A significant number of those exemptions, according to Troop, were related to a concern over fetal cells being used in the development of the vaccine.
It caused us to take a step back and ponder, do people really understand how ubiquitous the use of fetal cells is, either in the development or the testing of very common everyday medicines?
The hospital put out this form that employees requesting a religious exemption have to fill out, listing those common medications and asking the employer to acknowledge they won't take these medicines if they sign the form.
I respect people's opinions and I respect people's willingness if that's their sincerely held belief. We just got to make sure that they understand what that means.
Mercedes McKay, THV 11 News.
Thanks so much, Mercedes. Troop says about 90% of his staff is vaccinated, partially vaccinated, or exempt.